Hey guys, welcome back to the other side. I am so excited for the show today because God works in mysterious ways, and the way He brought this together was really cool. So, today I have two guests with me. I have my great family friend, Blanca Moreno. Not only family friend, she is the mother of all of my beautiful nieces. And today we have Dennis D. Romeo,
Yeah.
also known as the rapper and the artist. So we are grateful to have them both here today. What brought this on was pretty interesting because it just happened that the other morning, Blanca called me a little distraught at about 6 in the morning, and she wanted to have a conversation. And she wanted to talk about somebody that came to visit her the day before. Actually, he didn't. He was passing by, and she decided to stop him. Something was pulling on her heart to have a conversation with him. So I'm going to let her take over that and kind of let us know what happened there.
Oh boy. Well, I just want to, first of all, I want to say that I'm so grateful to be part of this foundation, One Heart at a Time. And because of that, I was able to, I don't know, maybe reach out to somebody that I believe needed me. I didn't know at the time that he needed me this bad, but I did call on to him, and he was, he was, I think he had already made up his mind that he was done. He was done living. He didn't want to live anymore. But I didn't know that. I did not know that at the time. I um I asked him questions, and I don't know. It was just very heavy. It was heavy. He told me a lot. He told me a lot more than I think I was able to handle. And I did talk to him. Long story short, I talked to him for about 2.5 hours. I thought I helped him, and maybe I did help him, but I prayed for him. I told him everything that I thought was the right things to say. But at the end of the day, long story short, I believe that I didn't. He still went, left my office telling me that he felt better. But once he walked out the door, he went and did what his mind had already told him to do, was to take his own life. He did not succeed, however. He's still alive, and he's gonna be okay, but, it was an eye opener for me. That's when I decided that I wanted to do more, and, here I am. Here I am.
Yes.
I'm here today, and I'm gonna let Anita finish, or at least, carry
Yeah.
on how D. Romeo came
Yeah.
along.
So she obviously called me distraught, and she just was really upset, and she wanted to do more. And I had mentioned, I said, that's why I have the podcast, because we need to do more. We can do more. And I said, maybe you should come on the podcast. Like she mentioned she was on my foundation. She is on the board of my foundation, One Heart at a Time. That is my foundation. And our mission is to just let people know that they're not alone, that
Yeah.
there are people that care, that we are out here. And she, when I thought about her, I realized, like, oh my gosh, Blanca's done so much for others. And then she mentioned D. Romeo and his story. And I mean, this guy's story is pretty incredible. And she sent me one of his songs, Scars. And the words to that song, it's not just like any rap song. Like this is a song with a message. Like this is a song about pain and about suffering and about overcoming. And his story is incredible, how he's overcome. He ended up in prison for 4 years when he was 18. He's since then come out of that tragedy and found himself, his passion in music and his passion in giving back and his passion in spreading the message, the good news of hope,
Right.
man, and that
Right.
there's like people there, right? So
Yeah.
I'm going to start with just really a question.
Yeah.
How everybody kind of wants to know is your childhood. Like, how did you grow up? How did you end up in prison at the age of 18?
Right. My childhood, kind of the normal, I guess you would say, the struggle that a lot of people like myself go through coming up. But my dad, he was gone when I was about 8 years old, maybe nine, I could say. But I mean, I was young. He left. He went to federal prison. So he was absent the whole time. I don't remember much really of him as my father and stuff. So I left my mother to play the mom and dad role at the same time. But my mom was kind of a spitting image of my father. She was also into gangs, and
Mm.
she was into the streets, and she was just as crazy as my father when it came to violence, from what I, can speak on. And she was in and out of jails. She was in and out of prison. So leading up as a child, my mom did the most. I will say she did a lot for me, and I love her to death. But it's more of too because of her behaviors and the life that she chose to live. It caused her to be what the state thought to be a danger to me. They say so.
Mm.
That caused foster care to come along, and they took me from my mother when I was about 11, I would say, and my sisters as well. We went to foster care, so I had a lot of I didn't really have my family. I would say,
Right.
even like aunts and cousins and stuff. To this day, my mother, we have a good relationship now too, but she'll speak upon like certain cousins, and I don't know who they are, and it's just a rough childhood. I would say rough childhood coming up.
Do you remember your grandparents?
I do actually. I do. My grandparents are from Argentina. That's where they were
Oh,
born. Yeah,
okay.
and I would visit them a lot, and they were the place to be. I would say it's like that for everybody.
Yeah.
Going to
Safe
grandparents.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always they got all the snacks, all the goodies, and the good time. They're
Yeah.
loving.
Mhm.
I do remember my grandparents when I was younger, but they moved, and then I didn't really have much family left. I had my uncle and an aunt, but it was kind of like a come and go situation as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, I would
So
bounce
not so
around a lot.
generational as far
Right.
as your grandparents, but they were immigrants, so
Yeah.
they struggled, and then your parents kind of came in and kind of did their own thing.
Right. 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 And
And it could have been generational, but it
yeah.
kind of stopped at you now.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Nice. So
And
how many siblings do you have?
I got 4 sisters, and then I got a little brother.
So do you know them all now?
Yeah, I know my sisters. My little brother, we didn't have a strong relationship. He was born and, for the most part, raised in Oklahoma. Uh, the mother of him was being with my father at the time before my father was incarcerated when I was young. So I don't know that side much.
Yeah.
But he, same thing, didn't really have much guidance. So he got lessons taught to him a lot more early at his age. At 16, he getting incarcerated and not really having a second chance at life due to what he was choosing to do.
So that's kind of all you knew.
Yeah,
That was just what was happening in your family.
right,
So there wasn't much to look up to or
right,
to aspire to,
right. Understand.
right?
Yeah.
So what made you get into music?
Music was my therapy. It makes me feel, I mean, it's really good. It feels like I could vent. It feels like if you have nobody, even though it's you who's making the music, it feels like you got somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
In a sense, I write music, I go over my lyrics, or I listen to a song, and I feel like I'm not alone. But I know that's what was the message, because I didn't know how much power it had until I understood when I was putting my music out. People would reach out to me like, I'm going through that, or
Yeah.
or like that's you're not the only person. Like, man, that's some deep stuff. Like I struggle with that on the daily, and what really touches me a lot about it too is a lot of the things I would talk about in my music. Me being a male, it
Yeah.
would be more for myself and my life. But
Yeah.
little did I know there was a lot of women or females who can be touched too, and they'll tell me like I can relate to your story a lot. So when I understood both genders can be like a
Can
lot of
relate.
connecting, yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I got something that I want to push a real message. But it's more of just my heart's always been pure no matter what I went through, and I got in a lot of trouble when I was younger, going back to my
Mhm.
childhood, but I was just angry. That's all
Yeah.
it was. Now that I'm older and that I could kind of grasp what was going on, because at the time I didn't
What were
know.
you angry at?
I was angry, honestly. I wanted my parents. Yeah, I
Mhm.
did, especially when I had my mother. I was a mama's boy, they called
Mhm.
it, and I wanted my parents, and I was angry, to be honest, when I would see other families, or I had my friends,
Mhm.
and then school would end, and then, hey, let's go over to so and so's house. I'd go over to a friend's house and see they
Mm,
got their parents.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
offer me dinner.
Yeah.
They got siblings. They got a household. They
Yeah.
seem like they're happy,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I would
That was
see
our
it,
house. Yeah.
right? And I would see it, and for me, it was like I love seeing it,
Yeah.
but it was like,
You
how
wanted it.
come? Yeah, how come I don't have that? So it made me angry to have to leave and
Mhm.
then go back to rather I'm staying at a a family member's friend's house because my situation,
Mhm.
and like I loved where I was still because that's all I knew, but it was more like I always just had that anger in my heart. Like I just wanted, I guess I would say, some type of form of affection, but
Yeah.
like I wanted that family feeling, and I think that's what had me angry a lot as far as that. And then also, it's one thing too. All I knew was like coming up, both of my parents, I guess, being involved with gangs and
Yeah.
violence and family and stuff, and my environment.
Mhm.
When that's all you see, it's kind of all you know. So I guess the anger is just was built into me, is what
Yeah.
I felt like. So fighting, or rather, it was doing graffiti, or getting in trouble in
Mhm.
school, trying to be a class clown, and just certain things. I guess it was something I had to grow out of because it was all I knew at the time.
Yeah. Kind of looking for attention,
Right,
affection,
right,
anything like
right,
it. Any attention is good attention,
right,
right?
right,
When it's not
right,
always.
right.
Yeah.
So you end up in prison,
Yeah.
and you've got 4 years to like really think about like what you did
Yeah.
and where you want to go.
Right.
What changed in your mindset when you were there?
Um, a lot of time was self-reflecting, being 18, and again going back to the not having the proper guidance. It caused me to I guess the saying is from babies to men. Like for
Mhm.
me, it
Yeah.
was like I had to grow instantly. Like you gotta just figure it out.
Mhm.
So you're surrounded by you know some people there that are it's an animalistic world in there. So it's kind of like there's a lot of ways that you can learn there, but it's about what you choose to do. You can
That's
learn the
right.
most horrible way, or you can learn from that one person who might have been in there for 20, 30 years, but he has the right head on his shoulder. He has kids at home that he speaks to on the phone that he wishes he can make it home to them. And he
Mm.
might have seen me as that 18-year-old boy, like, man, you got another chance. Like, let
Mhm.
me talk to you. So I gravitated more towards
So
trying
you
to
met some men like that.
yeah, 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 definitely.
Anybody that you can recall like who really made a difference or like something they may have
A
said that
lot, a
really
lot of,
made
a
an
lot of
impact?
the inmates in there who were gone for a long, long time that are older. They're the ones that are gonna try to mold you into the person that
That's
they
right.
they wish they could have been if they had another chance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not all trying to be tough and putting on the wrong image and trying to be somebody that you're not.
Mhm.
They'll teach you the right way. A lot of them will tell you, read books, go to college in here, get your diploma if you don't have it, do things that are going to benefit your mind so when you go home you can take care of your family and you can live the right way because it's not the place. You wake up
Mhm.
every day, you guys are wearing the same color clothes,
Yeah.
you're surrounded by a bunch of men, and at nature we want a woman, to live a life with.
Mhm.
And it's just a lot of things that when I was in there I just knew, like, I got a second chance and I want to capitalize on it and
Yeah.
take advantage of it. Before I went to prison, I was doing music, but I wasn't putting it out like that yet. So I would write a lot of lyrics and just kind of make songs for like my city, I guess you would
Mhm.
say, and kind of share them like on social media, but it
Mhm.
wasn't nothing big. And people knew from the beginning, like, hey, you're spreading a message. Like you're talking about some things that are not really talked
Yeah.
about.
So I need you to like maybe like bust a little hook because nobody really knows what we're talking about as
Yeah,
far as the message, and
yeah,
I want to catch them up
yeah,
to
yeah. So
why
so
you're
like
so different.
with the song you talked about, Scars, of course I sang the hook, but in simple way of saying it is I said when we're feeling all this pain that we feel inside, lonely nights with no one by our side, but we do what we gotta do just to get by. Gotta hold strong to the day I die. I sung that. And it's just different because it might be simple, but people reach out to me
Yeah.
like that hook, you sang it with all the passion, you can feel your
Mhm.
pain. Right now I gave it to you in a simple way,
Mhm.
but I really put my pain into that hook, and it's just certain things like that. I have a part 2 to Scars and part 1. On part 1, one thing that stuck to me, the most simplest thing. But I said, I just hope I'm the reason that that kid put that rope away.
That's
A
right.
lot of
Oh, I
people don't
love
understand
that.
it. They're
Yeah.
like, whoa, when you think about it, and you're
Yeah.
like,
That's deep,
I
man.
might make something, you know, a song right now, and all it took was for him to hear that, and to me, it goes a long way. You can be walking to the store, and you can be going to just grab yourself a drink or something, you know, a snack, and you can come across somebody. What makes me really like understand the how pain works is someone can have a conversation with you, right? And you're
Mhm.
just, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, how's your day? And you guys talk, and then you guys share a message to each other. Like, you guys get to know each other, and you can almost feel like you spread nothing but positivity to that person.
Yep.
You might have been the reason that, hey, this person was real positive to me. He was
Mhm.
nice to me. Like, I'm going through a lot. I got people treating me a certain way at home, but this person who looked the way I look showed me, I guess you would say, a form of
Respect.
love and
Yeah.
respect. So
Respect.
he might leave that store. He went into the store in a bad mood, but the simple conversation you
Yeah.
guys had could have gave him just a little bit uplift power to go back and deal with his demons, you know?
So that's why I remembered, because I told you that I also had that experience with the shadow person,
Yeah.
and that I didn't want never told anybody because I didn't want people thinking that I was crazy.
Yeah.
But when I was driving down the highway one time, I was worshiping and I was crying and I heard something tell me to drive off the road, like out of nowhere. And it freaked me out. And I looked in my rearview mirror and I saw a shadow run across
That's it.
the highway in my rearview mirror. And I never told anybody because it sounded crazy and it
And it's not.
seemed
You're not
crazy,
crazy.
but
It's
it's not
real.
crazy.
That's exactly what Sal said. He looked at me after I told him, whatever that shadow is telling you, that you're worthless, that you are nobody, that you are not loved, that you're lonely, that shadow is a liar. And you rebuke him and you get him out of your space, get him out of your room. He looked up at me with lost eyes and asked me, "You mean I'm not crazy?" I said, "No, you're not crazy. It's real. It's
Yes.
real." And I believe I don't struggle with depression, but from talking to so many young adults and hearing their stories and hearing their struggle, it's it's not crazy. It's real. It's real. There's a a voice telling you
Mhm.
so many things that
Yeah.
it's not true.
And that's
And
what you also said
that's
you
what he told me.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the reason
Yeah.
why.
I definitely for my own experience, I've never seen the shadows, but a lot of the times we all do who connect to each other with that aspect of the depression and the anxiety and even suicidal thoughts. Like, I'll give you an example. I suffer a lot where I can be in a social gathering or a party or even just anywhere where there's more than one individual or even a small group, and we're having like a really good time, you know, having fun. Everybody's, you know, looking like they're enjoying themselves. For some reason, when I catch myself having a good time or feeling like joy or happy, it's almost like my body gets paralyzed or something. Like, my mind
Yeah.
tells me, like, why are you enjoying yourself? Why are you having a good time if you're just gonna die one day? And that's something I struggle with a lot. That has to do with my depression and just the thoughts that go on in my head as far as
Mhm.
battling demons. And one thing that I never hold back on is I was always, and still to this day, I'm real open about my feelings with those demons that I battle on social media and stuff, and just in hopes that I'm trying to show people that you don't got to be afraid. You
Yeah.
don't got to be afraid to really
That's right.
speak how you feel. Someone like myself is like a masculine thing that,
Right.
like, men like don't want to. I don't want to share this feeling because these people might think he's weak,
Yeah.
or these people might think like you're not from the streets or something, you know. And it's like to me, I really don't worry about that, because any day I'd rather save the next person as far as what they're going
That's
through,
right.
because that's what I go through.
Yeah.
So I know those feelings are real. The other stuff is irrelevant to me,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
that's another battle that goes on too, because as a man we deal with our ego. So a lot of times I was
Yes.
I was dealing with my ego and trying to hold back, you know, feelings. And the music is kind of where that's my first stepping stool. Like, I'm gonna write down how I feel, make a song about it. I'm gonna put it out, see who it touches, and
Mhm.
then I'll do something else with it. Otherwise, a video or something, take it further. But whoever gets a hold of that and reaches out to me, I know for a
That's right.
fact that I feel good within myself because I already gave myself that
Mhm.
therapy. And also, there's people reaching out to me.
You made a
That's right.
Yeah,
difference.
One heart at a
definitely.
time.
One
Yeah,
heart at a
yeah,
That's
time.
definitely.
right.
Yeah.
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 And I like that. I like the one heart at a time is it's amazing, because that's really what it is.
Yeah.
It's really is. And it's just an ongoing, positivity thing that you can do and just saving. There's so many people in this world who go through those feelings, but
Yeah.
nobody really talks about it,
Mhm.
you
Exactly.
know. And you can come across anybody, and you can share how you feel with them, get a nice conversation going with them. Guarantee you, they're gonna open up. They're gonna
Yeah.
have some things they're going through. They're gonna
Yeah.
have feelings. Everybody has a story.
Mhm.
It's not all constant joy in this lifetime. It might be more minor than the next person, but it's enough for that person to get them to go through depression. It's just they say God gives his toughest battles to his toughest
Yeah.
soldiers. And he don't give you something that you can't handle. So that's why everybody's battle is different, you
Yeah.
know.
So what happened to you that made you decide like you didn't have to be that tough guy and that it was okay now for you to show your feelings because
Yeah,
that doesn't just happen. Like
yeah,
something had to happen in your life or you had to have a conversation.
yeah.
What was it that made you decide like it's okay to be vulnerable?
I think for me, going to prison, doing a lot of violent things in my younger, even though I'm still young, my younger
Mhm.
days, like I had a problem where I would fight a lot. I would fight a lot. And I started to realize, I'd fight so much that when I fought the person, I started to realize you don't get nothing from it. You just broke this person down
Yeah.
physically, and you guys went on with your life, and you didn't get not one thing out of it that helped you benefit yourself besides the satisfaction to your ego.
Yeah.
And to me, it was like I broke this person down in a physical way, or we just had a fight, and I knew, like, again, I spoke on. I've always had a pure heart, so not only did I not get anything positive out of it, but I felt bad. Like
Oh
my
yeah.
my my
Wow.
heart hurt. Like,
Yeah.
man. So I was the
Yeah.
type of person where I might have an altercation with a person because he disrespected me, and,
Yeah.
and and we do what we do. And to me, it was like I'm the type of person where I might want to get closer to you after that and get to
Mhm.
know you. Like, hey,
Yeah.
man, we kind of got that out the way,
I'm
but
telling you, this
yeah,
guy.
yeah, 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 yeah.
he's
And to
he's
me,
amazing.
to me, it was more like when I knew you don't got to put on that tough act is also prison.
Yeah.
I've been to prison, and I've seen what we would quote unquote people who've been in there for some charges. There might be some stuff, and you speak to those people, and they got the biggest hearts.
Yeah.
And
They
they're
do.
gonna and they're gonna tell you first things first. Put your pride to the side. There's more to
Wow.
this life.
Yeah.
Don't acknowledge none of that. They tell you the real strong people are strong up here. That's when
Mm.
I learned that.
Yeah.
If you can be what they
That's
Control
call
your
right.
mind, control
yeah,
your
if you can be
life.
the
Yeah.
better man and walk
Yep.
away, then that's when I learned I might be the better man to walk away. Now I'm more dangerous mentally because
That's
now
right.
if I walk away, it was more because I'm afraid of what I might do to this person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to harm nobody,
Yeah.
or let it be alone. I don't want to get harmed either,
Yeah.
because I'm not
Yeah.
a superhero,
Yeah.
But I think that's what it was. It's more just it all just comes down to knowledge. That's all
Yeah.
it is. Wisdom. The more you mature yourself, the more you learn about everything in this lifetime. I think it all comes down to knowing how to not be so simple minded.
Mhm.
Sometimes people just if you don't work on yourself enough, you're
Your
gonna be
thoughts.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Your
gonna
thoughts is like the number one. Your mind controls
yeah,
can be
Mhm.
so controlling
yeah,
And they
and
say that 90% of our thoughts are the same thoughts we thought yesterday.
yeah, definitely.
90%
Definitely,
of the
right?
thoughts.
So
Yes.
so it's a lot to me. It's like say I back in the day when I fight a lot, I was only fighting all the time, right?
Yeah.
But the time that I chose to grab a hold of myself and say, I'm not gonna get in no altercations no more. I'm not gonna feed into the disrespect or feed into the next person. That one time that you prove yourself, like you
Mhm.
don't got to do that, you start learning from that. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, I did it once. Let me try it again. It's
Yeah.
like baby steps. And then you grow like mentally. Like you take
Yeah.
a whole like growth to yourself, and then you start getting more people that gravitate towards you and it's like a big thing of
because you're
positive.
different.
Exactly.
You're
Yeah.
different.
Yeah,
They like
yeah,
different. And
yeah.
it's you but then you just become a leader as
Exactly,
opposed to a follower.
exactly,
And people when
exactly.
you're in that type of environment, there's not many leaders,
Right,
you
right.
know?
I got a close friend of mine, who actually called me a couple weeks ago, and I remember these things because they mean a lot to me because it shows that it's working
Yeah.
That's
character,
right.
and he tells me, "Hey man, you as I've known you, you taught me to put my pride to the side, bro." He's like, I've
Aw.
had a couple situations where the old me, I would have wanted to just fight, or I would have wanted to do this, and because of it, you taught me to kind of let it go. And I told him, I appreciate you calling me to acknowledge that, but
Yeah.
that just goes to show you that you could have saved yourself a trip to prison, bro. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could have, and the way that
Mm.
you handle that situation, little do you know, you might have taught that person something.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's all about what you choose to do with how you speak to the next person.
That's right. And
Some
that's one of the reasons why I'm here
Yeah.
to spread the word, to
yeah,
share that it's okay
right,
not to be okay.
right,
Yeah.
It's
right,
okay to speak about your feelings. It's okay to ask for help.
right,
Mhm.
It's okay to come out of your darkness and say it. I'm
Yeah.
not okay.
Yeah.
People are so afraid to say I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And they're so afraid to talk about mental health. I
Mhm.
believe that it should be part of any illnesses.
yeah,
It
Yeah.
should be spoken of like cancer.
Like a headache.
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, headache, cancer. Everybody
Mhm.
talks about so and so has cancer, but why don't we talk about depression,
Yeah.
anxiety? Why are we so afraid of it? Why are we just waiting for the next person to
Yeah.
take their own lives instead of just being open about it and saying, you know what, enough is enough.
Yeah, because we live in a world
Enough
that
is
nobody
enough.
wants to feel
There's just
weak.
yeah,
We
that
can't be
yeah.
exactly.
weak,
Everybody's
right? You got
ashamed.
to be
It's like
strong. You
Yeah,
can't
we're
be
ashamed
weak.
to
Then they're
say
going to
it.
take advantage of
Yeah,
you. It's
yeah,
like
and
you feel like you're an animal who's ready to prey.
yeah,
right,
You
right,
know?
right,
Oh no, they're
yeah.
down. And
right,
that's the society we live in,
right,
unfortunately. So
right.
that's what we have to
So
change. Like
that's
we
why
have
we're
to give
here.
them safe places and
Yeah.
let them know
So
they're
that's why.
safe places
Yeah,
to go. Like
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah, you don't have to just tell everybody. I think it's kind of cool. People don't know, but we talked about your dad. Your dad's not just like somebody, like he
Right,
was
right,
somebody.
right,
Like he's
right,
not in
right,
federal prison for
right,
nothing. Like
right,
he
right,
earned his way there,
right, right,
And you made a comment in the car and you had said like if it's kind of basically hereditary, right?
right, right,
And I remember studying and it's called like nature versus nurture.
right,
Are we born with it or are we raised that way?
right, right,
And from what you say, like the way you're talking, I mean, I don't know your dad,
right,
but I know enough
right,
like
right,
to know
right,
like
right,
I'm
right,
he didn't have your
right,
heart.
right, right,
you
right.
know.
Yeah,
He
understood.
probably did a lot of bad
Yeah,
things and
right,
didn't feel too bad about it,
right, right.
So that answers that question.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's not,
yeah. For
you
me, it's like
But
yeah,
you
he
never. But you don't know if he had his heart. I mean, sometimes
but I
there's
think he did it
bad
he did it
spirits and the
enough
devil can take
times, right?
control.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's
You could be born with a heart of gold, but if you allow the devil to control you and control your thoughts and your
Yeah, but
actions,
he
then
obviously did.
you're
yeah,
done.
He
yeah.
did. He
And
allowed
then
it
he
to
It's
stays.
a
happen.
tough
Yeah.
one. That's a valid point because even to this day, I had few conversations with my dad, and the conversations are so genuine, and like he'll have like a big positive message and all this, like, and I start to really admire him. But then I talk to my mother, and then my mother's like, your dad was crazy. Your dad was
I'm sure
this,
he
your
Well,
dad.
was.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
all
yeah,
But
grow
you,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
though.
yeah,
I
We
was
yeah,
grow
crazy
yeah,
and we
yeah,
too.
mature and we
yeah,
learn
and
and
like,
now he's probably that older man in prison you were
yeah,
talking about,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Telling the younger
yeah.
kids like, "Hey man, this isn't the future you
Exactly.
want."
Yeah. So my father, yeah, he's gone for very long time. He has a possibility of coming home. I don't speak too much on the stuff that he did due to like political reasons, I would call it.
Yeah.
But he is gone, and it's unfortunate. But I get the message from him that he was great. He just let his demons get him.
There you go.
And I
And
can't say like your mom has her own demons,
right,
right? Like
right,
she wasn't all great, like you
right,
said.
right.
So her judging him,
Yeah.
she's going to judge him.
Yeah.
But I mean, if your dad's good now and
Yeah.
he's giving a positive message
You
now, like
just
there's no reason why you should block him out, right, for
right,
what he
right,
did
right.
for the
And you
demons.
just
Because
brought another point out that gave me something I want to speak on. So my father, this comes back to depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, and
Sheesh.
just the inner feelings that we deal with.
That's right.
So watch this. This is a perfect example. My father, both of his parents were regular. Like, and when I say regular, they weren't in the streets. They weren't into violence. They were
hardworking.
hardworking, like respectable, like to society
Yeah.
people and normalized, I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
say. And they were born and they grew up in Argentina.
Yeah. So
So
they came here for the American dream.
right. So my abuela, I asked her, hey, my dad has a brother, which is my uncle, and he's a detective.
Oh,
So
really?
so my grandmother tells me your dad and your uncle growing up, for some reason they were like cops and robbers. Like
Yeah.
she
Wow.
said, I don't know
Isn't that
why
crazy?
I
Yeah.
never taught your dad to be that way ever, the way he was. So what I'm starting to understand from something like that when I put it in deep thought is when you dealing with something rather depression, anxiety, whatever he possibly could have been dealing with,
Hmm.
it doesn't have to sometimes always be how you came up. It really is like a
Yeah.
sickness.
Yeah,
It
it
really
is.
is like a almost mental health is something that
Yes.
they should speak on the same way she
Yes.
brought a valid point. The same way they talk about cancer,
Yes.
same way they talk about bad habits that society has, certain things. The same way is the same way they should speak on. Some people really do just have a mental
Yeah.
health problem,
Yes.
because I'll give my father as an example. He grew up, everybody has, not the best life, but
Right.
he wasn't ever trained that way
Yeah.
as far as someone like
It wasn't generational.
exactly.
Yeah.
And my mother, here's another one. My mother, she had my grandmother in her life, but her dad hung himself when she was 12 years old.
Oh.
So when it comes to my mother, and I see the way that she was coming up, I used
Mm-hmm.
to ask her, "Hey, ma, are you the way that you were? On personal stuff that I know and stuff. Are you the way that you were because you lost your father to hanging himself?" And she right away will lash out like and get real defending over it, and she
Wow.
shows emotion.
Yeah.
So she's telling me no, but the way she's reacting, I'm like, there it is.
Yeah.
You're hurt. Your father
Mm-hmm.
did what he did when he was
Yeah.
young.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
She's
and
angry, like you
exactly.
are
And
angry.
another reason I know
No
that
answers.
exactly. Another
Yeah.
reason I know that affected her was to this day, she says, I didn't know him and I don't care about him. Then why do you go
Oh.
visit his gravesite every other day?
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
Because it
Yeah.
hurts.
She's in
Exactly.
pain. Yeah.
She hasn't
So
overcome
so
that.
mental
Yeah.
health is something in my eyes that it really is within and
Yeah.
whatever happened along the line that triggered it. It's hard to say, but it doesn't always have to come back to the way you came up.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Exactly.
That's why I like to ask those questions
Right,
because people do have this idea, right? Like, oh, you grew up in the streets
right,
but not everybody grew up in the streets and
right,
not everybody
right,
has that
Yeah,
same
that's right.
story.
right,
Like, some people came from a really good home,
right, right,
some people from
Yeah.
maybe too good of a home,
right,
right? Where they
right,
were too like taken care of
right.
and
It doesn't matter
spoiled
who you
or
are. It
no, the
the
demons are
illness is
gonna
there.
get you either
Yeah.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah, if that enemy
It
is after you, it's gonna find you and you have to fight it
yeah,
because it's a constant battle.
definitely.
I know. I like I said yesterday, it was a tough day, you know?
Yeah,
Even I didn't want to talk about
Well, I believe that
it.
there is people that need the help that are just a little phone call away. All you have to do is pick up the phone and ask. If you haven't seen somebody in a couple of days, if you haven't heard from them, pick up the phone, call them
Mhm.
up. How are you doing? I haven't seen you. I, what's going on? There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. They're not going to think you're nosy. And even if they think that, at the end of the day, as long as you save somebody or you could talk somebody out of whatever they're thinking, or
Yeah.
they could be telling themselves so many bad things. But if you call them up and you ask, you could save somebody's
Well, and
life.
at least they know somebody cares.
Exactly.
They're
You could
not that
change
you
their
can
mind a
be
little bit.
angry, you cannot want to hear from anybody, but it's still nice to hear from somebody
yeah,
because you at least know that somebody does know that you're not around or you're
yeah.
quiet,
That's
you're
it's a
MIA.
it's a
But
powerful
I
thing.
believe that even the ones that are that know are still even ashamed to call somebody up and say,
Mhm.
you know what, I'm not doing good right now.
Mhm.
I Because you were going through it yesterday and you
Mhm.
didn't call me.
Mm-mm.
And you know that I'm here. I mean, that this is what I want to do. I'm passionate about it. After the last incident, a week, what, Tuesday, I never want to let somebody else go without me helping them out, calling
Yeah.
the hotline. Now I know better. If you know, if they're telling you that they want to hurt themselves, that they want to go to sleep and never wake up,
Mhm. Mhm.
then
Yes,
then
that's yes,
don't let them go.
obviously,
Like,
yeah.
call.
Yeah.
You call for them or
Yeah.
give them a number, stay with them,
Mhm.
talk about it,
Yes,
you know,
because we're not equipped, we're not
because we're not.
doctors.
Yeah,
No.
we're not.
And we have to remember that.
But we
So
have
we
to
can't sit
remember.
with guilt, right? We can
Right.
only do what we're doing and like try and have a conversation like we're doing now.
Yeah.
Try and make people aware that they're not alone, that we're
Yeah.
here if they want to have a conversation, and you with your music
Yeah.
spreading that word, and
It's
just that
important. It's
inspiration.
important. It's important to let people know that you're there for them. That's what helped me through a lot. Even with Blanca and her son, who I consider my brother and stuff. Like everybody who's played a role is important, and it's a thing. Like when you feel like you have nobody and they apply that extra pressure to show you that they're there, it might not be acknowledged to them that you appreciate it because
Mhm.
you're going through those demons, but it goes a long way,
Yeah.
and it definitely it's a major factor, and I'm all for that. Again, always push like the
Yeah.
positivity. I'm always trying to make sure that we can defeat the hatred in this world.
Mm.
We live in a time it could have been going on. I'm young, so it could have been
Yeah.
going on. But for me to speak for myself, it feels like
It's
by
been
the
going
day
on.
the hatred is just overpowering. And then social media plays a
Social
major
media is
part.
the one
You
Yeah.
that,
put something on social media trying to put out a positive message and watch them get in the comments and bash you for it.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Mhm.
Like, you serious?
So have you noticed that? Like how has your music been accepted?
So I'm grateful to say, for the most part, I've been acknowledged for the message I put out. But again, I'm gonna go back to ego
Mhm.
and pride and
Mhm.
stuff. It's always gonna be, if there's any hate that comes, it's a male, of
Mhm.
course, and they have the same lifestyle that I had, the streets
Okay, yeah.
and stuff like that. So they'll go and say, this is too depressing.
Yeah.
Leave that stuff alone, stuff like that, right? Well, if that's the case, if you if when they say like this is their term these days is this is trash,
Yeah.
this is trash or
Yeah.
whatever. Well, if you really felt that this was trash, if I don't like something and I'm on social media
Yeah.
and I'm scrolling and I see something I don't like, I pass it.
Yeah.
I don't go comment, this is
Yeah.
trash.
Yeah.
So something
It
tells
made him
me
feel a certain kind of
exactly.
way.
Hmm.
Something tells me,
Yeah.
hey,
Why you
That's
getting
really what
sad?
it comes
exactly.
Did it
down
make you
to.
shed a tear?
Exactly, exactly. So something
Yeah.
tells me in my
Yeah.
heart, you actually
Exactly.
might
Yeah,
like
you're right
this,
about
but your
that.
Mhm.
ego's telling you, let me try to bash this
Yeah.
person. That's that hatred,
Or
or
Yeah.
even
or
the
The
demons that we're talking
demon,
exactly,
about, or the shadows
yeah.
that
exactly.
we're talking
Heck
about that's
yeah.
telling him
It's
that's
envy,
trash.
Yeah.
and the
It is.
demons, and I know, to me that's how I can only understand that, is if I really don't like something, I just simply pass it up. I'm not gonna go give it any attention.
Well, that's
But
always me with atheists,
Yeah.
right? When they're always trying to discount God. It's
right,
like, well, if it
right,
doesn't exist, why are you fighting? That's like
Yeah.
saying move the rock that's not there.
right,
Like if
Yeah.
it
right,
doesn't, why
right,
why are you even saying
right,
anything about
right,
it? Like
right.
it's not, if it's
Definitely,
not there, it's not there, right? If you
definitely.
don't
Hmm.
Yeah,
like it, keep going.
yeah.
Why do you have to take the time out of your day to comment or
Right.
try and bring me down
Right.
for
And
spreading
and
a
that's
good
the world we
message?
live in, is like that.
Exactly.
Especially they're trying to keep that cycle going on. If I can be that small little factor to change it for at least
And I
people
believe
who
we
are
can.
around me,
I
it's
mean, if we have all these
yeah,
haters on
yeah,
social media,
yeah,
why can't we have all these people that are willing to help out or
yeah,
willing
Yeah.
to
Spread a
to
positive
yeah,
message.
spread the word or
yeah,
even call out for help? And
yeah,
that's really what we're shooting for. We want people to be able to call us and talk about it and
Hmm.
just share.
Have a real
Yeah,
conversation.
right,
and then it's
Just a real
okay
right,
and
conversation.
for somebody to listen and not judge you and not think you're crazy because you're not crazy. You're going through it, and again, the mind is very controlling,
Mhm.
and you could, if you just sit in your room and or in your home and not talk about it and just listen to the
And the enemy
voices.
likes to do that.
Listen to, yes,
They
that's
like to, he
exactly
likes
what's
to
happening.
separate you
That
and
is
like and
exactly what is
segregate
happening.
you
Oh
and
yeah,
And you
yeah.
don't even know. It could be your
Yeah.
next door neighbor
right,
that's going through it, and you could just pass him by and,
Yeah.
you know,
right,
hi, how you doing?
yeah,
But we're too busy
yeah,
sometimes.
Mhm.
Sometimes we're too busy
Well, look
to
what
take
happened
the
with you said you had got that call.
Today I
You
was too
yeah.
busy for somebody and they were going through it. And it was just a reminder, an eye opener that you should never be too busy to say, yes, what is it?
Mhm.
I'm here. I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of like tuned in after and said, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Excuse me, yes, I was busy, but now I'm available.
that might have
What
Yeah.
been
is
his
it?
last straw.
It could
Yeah,
have
that's
been,
what you
you
feel.
know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
It could have been. I talked to him
yeah,
about it and I
yeah,
talked to you about it.
Mhm.
It's we become so busy
right,
with our everyday activities or whatever is going on in our lives that we're just so fat. Everything's fast paced,
Mhm.
fast paced. We don't take the time to really listen to what people are trying to tell us, even by their actions or their look. I remember Sal's eyes. They did not look normal.
Yeah.
His eyes were lost. And I'm thinking, okay, should have noticed a little bit more. Should have
yeah,
paid more attention.
Mhm.
And this is really why I'm here today. To
yeah,
people can really like slow down and listen a little better and love a little more
Yeah.
and just be more affectionate and more compassionate about
Mhm.
everyday living because you don't know what people are going through. You just don't know.
I
yeah,
know.
You don't.
And with social media, everything
And you
looks
have to
all
be careful
shiny
about
and
every little
new
thing you
and
say
yeah.
yeah.
because you don't know
Everything.
what they're going through.
Social media
Yeah.
is always gonna do that too. That's the hard part. And then it's hard too because we have a life that we have to still do what we have to do. So we're busy. It feels like sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody might have something that needs to be touched on, or they might come to you, but it's like I really want to help you, but right now I'm working or
Yeah, I
something.
gotta
You know,
pay my
like
Exactly.
bills.
yeah. And
Yeah, I
don't get
gotta
me wrong,
yeah.
I want to, but in order for that topic, it's so sensitive of a topic.
Yes.
I gotta
Give
really
you
think
time.
about what we're talking about. Yeah, I can't just
Yeah.
say the wrong thing or say something. And then also you got to be in the right mind space for
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
You can't be in an agitated mood and then try to cure this person, but you're kind of agitated because it's real sensitive. You know,
Yeah.
It is very
it
sensitive.
goes. It really is something that
And it's draining.
it is.
It is.
It's draining.
It is. It
'Cause
really
But
you
it's
is.
wanna
okay.
yeah. Well, yeah,
I
it's
mean,
okay,
to me,
but
it's
I
okay.
know
Like,
what you're saying, like, you
Right.
wanna be in the right
Right.
mindset, you
Right.
know?
Right.
So you wanna give them the time
Right.
but, you know, that I honestly believe look, like I said or before, we're not doctors, right? We
Right.
can't save everybody as much as we want to, but what we can do is acknowledge,
Right.
right?
Right.
Acknowledge them, let them know that, you know what, I'm really busy from this time to this time,
Right.
and I really want to give you the time that you need, that I believe you
Yeah.
deserve because you're
Exactly.
special to
Right.
me,
Right.
right?
Right.
You kind of, you know, solidify you're special to me, and
Yeah.
let's set up a time maybe tonight between 5 and 6,
Right. Right.
and just and then it gives them
Yeah.
something to look forward to
Right.
too,
Right.
right?
Right.
okay, so I just got a text right now. Just it reads, and I'm not going to say who it's from or, but just a prime example of what people are going through and what the voices are telling them. But it says, I'm sorry to be such a disappointment. I mean, come on. Really?
Right.
This is the kind of voices that people
Mm.
are getting. I just wanted to tell you, sorry for being such a disappointment.
Out
You
of
know, you're
nowhere.
not a disappointment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody is a disappointment.
Yeah.
But this is the type of voices that you
Yeah.
hear. You're a disappointment. You are worthless. You're a nobody. You're a loser. You're this. You're that.
It's so
And it's not
sad.
good.
It's
Yeah.
so
It's not cool.
hard. We
It's
live in
hard.
such a like
It's
crazy
hard.
world.
And
Like
Right.
you keeping up with the Joneses and
Right. Right.
income and
Right.
entrepreneurship and even
Right.
me like, oh my God. And I
Right.
feel like I'm behind all the time
Yeah.
and you're just always racing against
Right.
what? With like
Right.
what
yeah.
clock?
Right.
Where? Like
Right.
I'm ready to pack my shit up and go
Right.
be a millionaire
Right.
with my money in
Right.
Tahiti, you know,
Right.
where
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
where it lasts a lot longer on a
Yeah.
gorgeous island. I'm like, why am I doing all this?
Right. Right.
But then we're doing this,
Yeah.
right? Your music is
Yeah.
sending a message.
Right.
This is sending a message. Like my
It's
work and
hard. Like
yeah, but
right now I'm thinking, what am I going to tell this person once I leave here and I get talk to him and let him know, because this is an everyday thing. People are thinking these thoughts
yeah.
every single day, every single minute of the day. and we need to be able to reach
Well,
out and let them know
yeah,
that
and
it's okay.
we have to start brainwashing ourselves, right, in another direction.
Yeah.
So with people like that, like I start sending them YouTubes. I send them a lot of like motivational YouTubes
Yeah.
because I mean, I had to do it for myself. Yesterday, I had to like it was like, look, bitch, get out of bed. Like nobody's gonna do this, live this life for
Right,
you. Like
right, right,
nobody's gonna come and get you out of bed
right,
and
right,
live your life. Like
right,
you
right,
got to do it. And
right,
I literally told myself that,
right,
like,
right.
yeah, enough's
Definitely.
enough. Like
Yeah,
you got a day.
yeah,
You have a day. You had a day.
right,
Enough. Yeah,
right.
it's done.
At the
Yeah,
end of
Get
the
over it.
day, it's just it's okay not to be okay,
Mm,
but it's not okay not to talk about it. It
yes.
it, it has to be easy for people to come and tell you what they're feeling
Yeah.
and what their thoughts are. And it should be easy for us to be able to ask, are you having suicidal thoughts?
yeah,
Hmm.
Because sometimes I believe that's hard too to ask that.
yeah.
Why are we so afraid to ask that
Well, because
question?
people think they're
But
gonna have
but
give
it's
somebody the idea,
but it's
and
such a
that's a
serious
misconception.
question. It's
Yeah.
such a serious
And then
topic.
it goes
It's
back
Yeah.
to also like for the males, the ego too. I'm gonna keep
Yes.
bringing the ego in.
Yes. They
Yeah,
don't want to be
yeah,
weak.
yeah.
Men don't want to be looked at
They
as
feel like
weak.
yeah, and then like I had a lot of those thoughts even before. I don't care too much now, but before I would post so openly on my social media on Instagram, like stories for my people to see who are following me. I would have thoughts like, oh, I'm a rapper. I'm an artist. I don't always talk about my pain. I
mm-hmm.
talk about love too with
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
female like
Mm-hmm.
R&B
Yeah.
sing stuff and like or I might talk about some things I've done in the past or the violence or something
Yeah.
because that's what like drove me to write that song and that might come off more like hardcore but it's like don't get me wrong you see me now talking about I'm depressed man
Yeah.
I'm
That's
going
right.
through real emotions right now like and it's just one of those things it's more of people are kind of afraid to talk about it they feel oh if I try to mention this to this person I might not fit in with them I might
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
seem like I'm normal I might this but you can take that chance and talk to them and they can have
That's
a
right.
whole story that you never
Mm-hmm.
know
Amen.
about and then it's like whoa hold on like I
Yes.
didn't even know you dealt with this I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
this I didn't again I have another friend I had no idea. I wrote the song Scars Part 2, made the song, told me about his cousin committing suicide,
That's
right?
Yeah.
right. Like I told you earlier,
Mm-hmm.
the
Like, bro,
person I went hiking with.
I would have never known. I made this song, right? And then you tell me this, like,
Yes.
it took me to talk on that subject
Right?
before.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
you don't,
Yes.
yeah,
nobody's open about it.
yeah,
Yes.
Why?
That's why
But
I
they're open
did
about everything
this
right.
else.
because as soon as you start talking
Mm-mm.
about it, then other people start
Exactly,
Yep.
talking about it.
exactly.
And it doesn't like I don't have to be famous, right? It's like one heart at a time, one
Yeah,
person at a time, one
That's what
mind
happened
at a
with me
time.
yesterday when I was.
But now we've got like the three of us, right?
yeah,
And now you're like all like one heart at a time
right,
down to make a
All day
difference.
long.
And
right,
look, we've got you
right.
and I mean you have what? Like 25,000 followers. I
Yeah,
mean, you don't
yeah,
have like a little
yeah.
following. You have
Appreciate
a
it. Yeah,
lot of people who are
yeah,
listening to your music, who are listening to your message,
right,
Yeah.
who you are inspiring.
right,
And it's a good age.
right,
Like
right.
how old are you?
25.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a baby.
Yeah.
But
Time flies
you've
by
got all these
quick
other
though.
little kids following
Yeah.
you too. I'm
Yeah.
sure, 16, 17,
Yeah. You
18. Like,
know what also that I noticed as well, me having children, I have a daughter and a newborn son.
wow.
What with my daughter, when I had kids, that opened up a whole nother aspect as far as the maturity side and everything
Mm-hmm.
on me showing I'm it's not about myself
Yeah, that's
anymore,
right.
So when I would have certain thoughts, with the depression, I used to think like, man, I can't like me, I'm always speaking so highly of myself or I'm a man and like I'm different in a good way. Like I can't leave my kids out in this world where it's ugly out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I'm the one hope that they have, I gotta show them the right way.
Yeah.
So that's another piece from the man upstairs
Yeah.
where he shows me, hey, look at you move through your
That's
children
right.
and show them what you want them to be as another generation when they come up.
Yes. Because now you're making
Yeah,
generational
yeah. And
change.
so
You really
yeah,
are, Dennis.
exactly. And the same thing
And
with
I'm so proud of you.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate
I
it.
really
Even with
am.
the
Heck yeah.
music aspect, I try to separate myself as an artist because rappers my age, they
Mhm.
want to speak upon some
Oh,
things,
Yeah.
yes,
and
slapping, flipping,
yeah,
grinding,
it's
freaking
and yeah,
twerking,
and
yeah.
here's my thing. If
Hey, wait,
that's
but I remember that one
yeah,
video.
exactly. Here's my thing. I'm never knocking those artists
Yeah,
ever, ever.
That's right.
I always respect the come
yeah,
up and how you came up.
That's
But
right.
I guarantee you, you go talk to those artists, they got a story. So why
yes,
not tell it?
yes,
You know,
yes,
why not tell that story?
yes.
And I feel that if you do
They're
so,
afraid. A lot of them are afraid,
right,
right? They're
right,
afraid to send that
right,
message. They
right,
they have this persona now
right,
that they've created.
right,
So they can't change it. They're afraid
right,
it'll knock them off their little
right,
pedestal that
right,
they're on.
right,
And
right,
you decided to stick with your message as opposed to kind of,
right,
I don't want to say selling out.
right,
That sounds really bad because
right,
it's not true. Like
right,
we all,
right,
make a decision, but
right.
But yeah.
you
But how
you
many
decided to continue to spread your message.
Exactly.
exactly? But how many people have lost to suicide that have had high profiles
Yeah,
Oh
that chose
yeah.
not
yeah,
to talk about
yeah,
it
Yeah,
and just to keep it a secret. And
no,
I
they
hear
would,
exactly,
about it every
yeah,
day.
yeah,
exactly.
and the
So
most wealthy,
again,
right?
Yeah.
So
yes,
it just shows it has, no color
Yeah.
lines, like it does
it
not
doesn't.
discriminate.
It's
A lot of people too, they might not notice something I might feel like I notice. If a rapper talks about drugs a lot, right? And doing like pills and stuff, right?
Mhm.
How do they not know he's rapping about those drugs, trying to put like that hard image
that's right.
on, but
Mhm.
he's really taking those medications because he suffers with certain thoughts that he can't
Mhm.
cope with, but he
Mhm.
don't talk about them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's what I mean by I'm never
A
knocking those
masking,
exactly.
right?
I'm
Masking
never
the real
exactly. That's
issue.
what I mean by I'm never talking down upon those artists. I'm more of a trying to be that person like you
Different.
can be a lot greater, bro. Spread a bigger message.
That's right.
Or take what you're doing and do something great with it.
Mhm.
Nothing don't backstep. Like I can simply have came home from prison and I could have capitalized on everything that the statistics wanted me to be.
Mhm.
Yep.
And that's all bad. It's backpedal, but I feel like everything does really happen for a reason, and that's what my purpose is. Everybody has their purpose. It's just the depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. I'm always put pressure on those words
That's
as
right.
far as what we're
Amen.
talking about. Those feelings are real, and I'm here to always be a part of what you guys
Yeah.
got and say I'm not afraid to talk about them.
That's right.
You know, and if
That's me too.
I
yeah,
love it.
I'm
I'm
not
not.
afraid ever. I'm all for trying to help out the next person, the children.
Yeah.
There's besides people like our age and older, there's young children,
Wow.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Oh,
were having a
yeah.
conversation about that,
Yes,
right?
man. Like
Young
11
children.
years old, 8
Yeah,
years
Yeah, no,
old
I
wanting
can't
to die.
imagine a
Yeah.
child having those thoughts.
young
No.
I mean,
children.
because they're supposed to be full of love and,
Yes, and innocent, but you see
yeah,
the world we live in,
Right,
it's full of a lot of craziness and
right,
confusion.
right,
So, and that's what the enemy loves, right? To
right.
confuse and
Exactly.
destroy.
Yeah.
When did you find God?
Man, I knew he was real. So here's the thing too. I'm not like I don't want to ever put the wrong idea and tell people I go to church all the time and
You
stuff
don't
like
have to
that.
go to
Yeah,
church to know
exactly,
God.
exactly. So I just I I I knew he was real a couple times, but one time that's a quicker story. Sounds a little cliche, but it was real to me because I felt it.
Hmm.
When I took my time for my sentence, I was fighting 33 years with 8 months.
Wow.
And I remember before I took my deal in trial, I was in the holding tank, and of course, no one knows because those are things that you talk about with him between
Hmm.
yeah, that's
yourself.
right.
The deal.
But
It's when you start making deals with
yeah,
God.
and I remember asking the lawyer said that we had to take like a lunch break, but I was supposed to sign my deal for a crazy amount of time in my eyes, right? We took the lunch break. When we took the lunch break, believe it or not, I
Jesus.
told God, hey, I know I did wrong. I know I did. I'm gonna be punished for it. I know I am.
Mm.
All I ask is for a second chance. That's it. And by a
Jesus.
second chance, I just meant let me come home earlier than what they're trying to do to me,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
The lawyer came in. He said, "Hey Gonzalez, that's my last name." He said, "I don't know what happened with the judge. I don't know what's
Jesus.
going on, but they want to give you a better deal if you're willing to
Oh,
take it." And I said, "What's
hallelujah.
that?" Right? I said, "What's that?" He said, "They want to give you 6 years with 85% if you
Hallelujah.
plead guilty."
Thank you,
So
Jesus.
what he meant by plead guilty in my mind with him
Yeah.
was I told him I know I'm gonna get
You already
punished.
told
Yeah.
him you,
So I pled guilty. Then after I
Jesus.
took my deal, he said to top it off, you've been fighting your case for almost a year, so you get time credit served. You got 4 years, 8 months remaining.
Shut
I kid you
Hallelujah.
not.
up. So God is
Don't tell
good
yeah,
and
me
he
God's not real.
answers.
yeah.
But asking
So
you shall
Don't tell
exactly.
me God's
receive
not
So
when you
real.
believe it.
with the man upstairs with God,
Amen.
like I'm not. I don't like show up to church and stuff.
Yeah.
But when I do have conversations with people, I always stand on
That's
it. I
right.
say, yeah, I
Yes.
believe in that. I do. I
Yeah.
do. Like the same way you might seen this person who's a famous a celebrity as your idol or something. The
Yeah.
same way I believe in that.
That's right.
There's a
Amen.
higher
I
end,
love
but
that.
it's
Yeah.
just I stand on what I believe in at all times.
Yeah.
And
Even
he
some
really
of
does.
even some of the hardest people said it. Tupac, he's a
Yeah.
gangster rapper, said, "I'd rather die like a man than live like a coward."
Yeah.
In my eyes, that's for every aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of what you
That's
Mm-hmm.
believe
right.
in and what you
Mm-hmm.
stand on.
It's
But
character.
Amen.
yeah, that's when I knew. I had a couple times that me and my heart feel that I know that, but even some of the people who do wrong to this day or live the gang life, they show up to church. Why?
Yeah.
Why do they show up to
To ask
church?
for forgiveness.
Exactly. They go, right? Because
Yeah.
everybody, okay, when something bad happens, and this happens every time, and I'll even say I noticed it because I did it.
Yeah.
When you're at your lowest point and it's everything's about to crash,
Mm-hmm.
people always go to God. They pray,
Yeah.
please help me,
Hey, so we passed by the courthouse and my grandson, he's 3 years old, and he says, look, Grandma, it's a church. And my
Yeah.
son says, it's not a church, it's the courthouse. I'm
Yeah.
all, yeah, well, every time he sees you there, you're praying.
Yeah. So
He's like,
I'm
oh
one of
God.
the people that I just feel I know he's real. I got faith in him and my heart is with
That's
him.
right.
But I'm one of the people that I feel that if I live my life trying to be the best man that I can be
Yes.
to the next person
Yes.
and my intentions, that hopefully when my day comes that I have an opportunity to see heaven's
To
gates,
meet him.
And
But
you will.
yeah, definitely. I do stand on that. And I believe he's watching. He knows.
Oh, yeah, he
He knows.
knows. He sees
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, he knows.
So, D. Romeo,
Yeah.
I want you to look in the camera where the light is. And
Yeah.
if you could tell any young teenager that is like where you were at 18 something, what would you want him to know?
When I was
Or
18,
her.
where I were, what would I want the young teenagers to know? Um, Man, there's a lot. Honestly, I'll try to compress it. Don't let the circumstances that you were dealt with determine what your life could be.
Amen.
And
That's
and
right.
and you're gonna. This is me speaking at 18 with somebody young for the future. You're gonna go through a whole lot of trials and tribulations. That's life. But what's gonna feel good, the beauty, the satisfaction, is you showing that the true strength is you being able to overcome those battles. That's what defines character.
Yes.
Overcoming every battle, but take it day by day. You wake up tomorrow, thank the man
That's
upstairs that
right.
you've
That's
seen
what I
another
say all the
day all
time.
the time. I post on my story, I woke up today.
That's
It's a
right.
blessing.
Amen.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And just don't let the world we live in, because it's gonna be a lot of negativity around you and demons. Don't let it determine what you do as a person, who you are.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. Try to be the best person you can be at all times, and
That's
it's
right.
it's gonna make a difference. You can be in a room with a couple people. If you stand on what you believe in, your heart's gonna glow without you even
Oh,
knowing, and
I
you're
love
gonna
it.
rub off on
You're
the
right.
next person.
So true.
And I believe in that a whole lot more. But that's really what I would love to put that message. Just be a positive person. Have a
That's
good
right.
heart. No matter
Yeah.
what. No
Yeah.
matter what.
I love that.
Yeah.
I
How
do too.
about you, Blanca?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
If you could tell, ooh, well, because you have quite a story too, girl, but well, that's another time. If you could tell your 18-year-old self something.
My 18-year-old self? Wow,
Yeah.
that's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
That's
That
interesting.
young girl or boy, I'm talking
Well,
about
see,
the young
the
girl
thing
out
is
there,
that
like,
I don't struggle with depression. I do.
no, anybody, any young girl out there, anything.
If I want to tell anybody, oh, of
Like
course.
any
Oh,
18-year-old young girl
Some,
out there, like
some
some
life
words of
advice.
wisdom.
Life
Yeah.
advice,
Yeah.
huh?
Life
What would you give
advice.
18?
I just my main goal is just to reach out to everybody. It doesn't really matter what age. Um, I believe that your medicine is talking about whatever situation you have. Um, talking about it, that's your medicine. Talking to God about it, reaching out to somebody. Um, I just want to share the good news that
Mhm.
there's hope out
Mhm.
there. To call somebody, to talk, call me. I'm so open to anybody giving me a call and letting me know, hey, I need to talk. I need help. Uh, That's because talking is the key, I
Yeah,
believe, to
medicine.
this
Poison.
yeah, this illness, this sickness, this mental health. We need to let everybody know that, hey, it's okay to talk about it and it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not crazy.
Yeah.
You're not sick. It's okay. Just talk about it and reach out to somebody. That's my message. It's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
But it's not. There's everybody is going through something, but nobody's really willing to talk about it. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to act like they're happy, they're strong, they have it all together. At the end of the day, that's not really what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody just puts out a front or
A mask,
some
yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of some kind of filter
Well,
that makes it
we
look
can't
better
be
and it
all
doesn't.
walking around crying all day,
No, I
but
get it.
That's
I
true.
get it. But there's
That's
so
true.
many
That's very
I
true.
get
Yeah.
I get that. But there's so many people that are afraid to reach out to
Yeah.
somebody.
yeah.
Yeah. As far as the like you talking about like those feelings and then some people like I don't know what that's like. Don't talk
Yes, but
about
they
that. But what
Yeah.
if
do.
you are really feeling that? You don't want to talk about it.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But
Well, that's why there's
Reaching out.
hotlines,
yeah,
right? So I'm going to put in the
But there
description
is
the
hotlines.
hotlines, the
I get it.
numbers, your friends, your family. Like, don't take your friends and family for granted. They want to be there for you, even though you think they don't. They do. They want to help you, they want to hear you out. They'd rather hear that you're depressed than hear about you're taking your life
right.
and having to
Yeah.
go to a
What
funeral.
what
Like,
about you, Anita? What would you say? Hey, you're at that age.
Yeah,
oh,
because
damn.
Yeah.
at that age.
Well, at that age, that's when I tried to take my life.
Oh
So,
man.
at that age is a girl.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when you
Like,
start
come
growing.
on. This
Yeah.
is nothing.
Again,
Right. Right. Right.
I think it
Right.
falls back to the same thing that I'm trying to say, talking about it. If you would, at that age,
Yeah, at that
I
age.
wish you would have told me you
Yeah.
were going through it,
Yeah.
but you didn't.
Yeah. Well, I
I could
think
have
at that
hugged you
age,
tighter.
it's just
I
such a
could have.
tough age,
Right.
right?
Right.
18 is a tough age.
It
You
really
talk to
is.
adults and you think they don't know what you're talking
Right.
about. And then
Right.
you become the adult and you realize like nothing's
Right.
even changed. Like
Right.
all the same stuff,
Right.
right? The boyfriend, my mom would tell me, like, oh, you're going to have many loves in your
Right.
life. And you're
Right.
thinking, like, no, but I love him. And
Yeah.
then it's
Yeah.
like, damn, like, I didn't realize, like,
Right.
I'd have that many loves.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
But,
Yeah.
so it's just, I would tell my 18-year-old self to listen to the adults. Not much has changed. Like, the only thing that changes is technology. But the reality is, love, relationships,
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
bills, trying to decide what you're going to be when you grow up. I mean,
Right.
shit, I'm 52. I'm still
Right.
trying to figure out what I'm going to be when I grow up.
Right.
Like,
Right.
there's always decisions and always going to be trials. And you have to talk about it.
Right.
Talk about it. Talk
Right.
about it to your friends. Like,
There
talk
you
about it
go.
to your
Yeah.
elders, to your parents, and believe what they say. Like,
Right.
they do have good advice. They have life advice. They have
Right.
life experience.
Right.
You know, educate yourself on
Yeah.
YouTube. Financial literacy is
Yeah.
like a big deal because, like we talked about in the car, right? What you
Yeah.
don't know, you don't know.
Right.
So the
Right.
more we educate ourselves,
Yeah.
this.
That's important.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing that I forgot to talk about in a small way of putting it is some people who deal with those thoughts they lack knowing their self.
Yeah.
They don't know their self really, so they're finding their self, and that's real discouraging when you're like lacking confidence or you don't know who
Mm-hmm.
you are as a person. And that's another thing we could touch
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
So spend more time trying to get to know you. Huh?
Right. Right.
Well, I
That
want to
is it.
thank you guys for
Yeah. Thank
joining
you.
me today. I really
Appreciate it.
appreciate
It's an
it.
honor to be here.
Appreciate
It
it.
really
Thank
Yeah.
is.
you. And check out
I
D.
hope.
Romeo's
Yeah. Oh
music,
Yeah.
yeah.
please. You'll love it. It
Appreciate it.
sends a message, a great message.
Yeah.
And Blanca, be looking out for us
Yes.
because we're going to be spreading the good news
We
and we're going to
are.
be
Yes, we
causing
are.
some chaos.
One heart at a time, y'all. And to all
Yes.
One
my
heart at a
people
time.
out there, stay
Yeah.
Yeah.
positive.
You're
Yes.
next.
Like and share.
Mhm.
You're next.
You're next.
Your heart is my heart. It really is. I'm serious.